The man whose feast we celebrate today, relatively unknown by most Catholics today, which is really sad, he is known in the church as the theologian. The theologian, the one who is above all the rest, and nobody's ever even heard of him. He, along with Gregory of Nyssa and Basil the Great, are the ones who, for the most part, worked out the theology of the Trinity. St. Gregory Nazianzus is the one who said, "A theologian's ability is equal to the depth of his prayer." That is the most important thing that any of us can hear. A theologian's ability is equal to the depth of his prayer. Not how many books he's read, not how many classes he took. It's equal to the depth of his prayer. And I say that that's so important for all of us because we're not all called to be theologians. We are all called to be just, to be righteous. And so if we want to have insight into the Lord, it is going to come only through prayer. Again, we look at somebody like Saint Bernadette, who had no education to speak of, and yet her prayer was so profound that when the theologians came to question her about all the different things with Our Lady, her answers baffled them. She had no education and she blew them away because she knew Jesus and Mary. She didn't know about Jesus and Mary. She knew them. And because she knew them, she had insight into the very depth of who they are, and consequently could explain things that the theologians couldn't understand because all they did is know about them. Oh, they had read hundreds of books and they had taken all their classes and they had written their doctoral dissertations and all. They were really smart people, but they didn't have a prayer life of any depth. And they didn't understand. They couldn't figure out what this little uneducated girl was talking about because they didn't have a prayer life. So you don't have to have a ton of education. You don't have to have read hundreds of theological treatises. You need to know the Lord. And there is only one way to know the Lord, and that is prayer. Why is this so important? Not because, like St. Gregory, you are called to be the theologian in the church. No, in fact, something far greater. Because the Lord said, "You are the light of the world, and a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. You are the salt of the earth." So the Lord has started a fire in you. That started on the day that you were baptized. And he doesn't want it under a bushel basket. He wants it up on a lampstand where it's going to give light to everyone in the house. Now, when St. Augustine was in the process of his conversion, and he was talking with some of his friends, and they were all considering these questions about Christianity, what did St. Augustine say? He said, "Let's go and talk to my mother because she's baptized." Not because she's written or read all kinds of theology, because she is baptized. Because she has the wisdom of Christ, because she's a member of Christ, and therefore she can be the light. She can shed light upon these questions. Well, if that's the case, you are baptized.